Yeah, Plug Talk is the best. Only podcast where the host smash the guest. Yeah, Plug Talk is the best. Only podcast where the host smash the guest. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Plug Talk, but this one is more exciting than most. We've got the talk of the internet, the most viral girl in the world, I think it's safe to say at this very moment. Lily Phillips is in the building.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me on. That was such an introduction.
I mean, it feels kind of obvious to be totally real, yeah.
Like, we're both very excited about this conversation.
Sweet.
She just came in last night, 2 a.m., had a hard time coming in, possibly because of her...
I had to suck a couple of officers off to get in, yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
what were they actually saying to you, though? Were they like, hey, you just fucked 100 guys on camera. We don't want you coming into the country, anything like that?
They were like asking if I was a prostitute and stuff like that. Depends who's asking.
Yeah, it's weird how prostitution is illegal, but doing with hundreds of men at a time isn't. And for them, I'm sure that this is kind of a blurry
Were you
line.
trying to explain that to them? Like, no, I get paid, but I'm not a prostitute. Like...
Well, I was very much like, yeah, I fuck all these guys, but like they don't pay a penny, so it's not prostitution technically. Like I just fuck a lot of guys.
I could just imagine the sleepy customs agent at 2 a.m. just listening to that and being like,
Trying to find a video 5 minutes
Yeah,
later.
no,
Like...
they brought all my videos.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because they started asking like if I ever worked with anyone in the United States and stuff like that. Of course, I was like, no. And then they were like, not jackknife, no? And I was like, no.
Wait,
Just
what?
lying
They were
through
pulling up
my Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And this is your first time in the United States?
Third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To be honest, I have shot here a few times before.
But the other times are obviously a little smoother.
Yeah.
When I realized that your stage name is your real name, that's when I was like, okay, I could totally see how this would be a problem coming in. But
Definitely. Okay, so how did we get here today? At what point does Lily Phillips go from being a normal person to being an OnlyFans star? And then at some point we can discover how you went from OnlyFans star to where you're at now, where you just decided to take things to a truly extreme level.
So I've always been a massive whore, like even, like for university and stuff like that. And I started OnlyFans when I was at university, and I was doing all this stuff off camera anyway. Like this was a hobby before it was work. And then when I got into OnlyFans, I started off with the quite like tame stuff because the internet's forever, right? And then it got to about a year ago and I was like, this is boring. Like I want to show more of my like actual sex life. And that's kind of when I got into doing like more extreme stuff and things like that, and just like doing the stuff that I actually enjoy off camera.
So when you say you were a whore in college, what did that consist of, and where do you feel like that drive came from?
You know what? I feel like I was born for like I've always had this drive in me, the dog in me. And yeah, I was just like sleeping around a lot. Every night out I'd go on, I was like, who am I gonna fuck tonight?
So how many guys do you think it was before you decided to take on these challenges?
Probably like a couple hundred, maybe 100.
And that's mostly in your personal life.
Yeah. And like me and my friend, we were a bit of like a double act at university. She was like such a whore like me, and we'd go and like just try and sleep with two best friends so we could like stay together for the night. Like it was quite smart because it was like safety, but we could also and then we'd like swap guys and share them and stuff like that.
It was like fighting over the hotter guy.
Yeah.
But you probably had like a pretty traditional upbringing. Like what was it about you that made you comfortable sort of bursting out of the standards that we kind of expect for the average woman? And especially, it feels like the reason, like a big part of the reason why you're so viral is because girls as pretty as you don't typically embark on this sort of lifestyle.
Pretty girls do. Okay.
No, they do, totally. But pretty girls usually don't go as hard as she goes.
Yeah, you just look very like polished and sophisticated and proper. And I think that's the part that's very confusing for people. Like you don't fit in their brain under the section of girl who wants to 1,000 guys. Like I think they imagine that girl to have tattoos and piercings and like be a little alternative in some way, even though that's totally a stereotype. So I think they're just like, I could bring her home to my mom. This is weird, you know?
I think I've always had a really like good upbringing. My parents were just like together. Like I genuinely had like the perfect childhood and things like that. It's really weird how I have like turned out to be a massive whore. It's kind of interesting. I don't know where that really comes from. Maybe like in my blood somewhere.
It's like more of a rebellious thing? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Was your family religious at all?
Not really. No,
okay.
they weren't like strict or anything like that. They were pretty easygoing. So I don't really know where it's, you know, my love for cock sparked up.
I also feel like as viral as this would probably be if you were American, it stands out even more because we look at the British as a little bit more conservative and even less likely. I feel like the
We just think you're
average
better than us.
the average person in the UK looks at America as being a lot more open because like even in the entirety of the UK, it's not that many like super famous you know, it's like kind of stands out a bit more too.
Yeah, people are quite conservative in England. And I think, you know, these like conventions and stuff like that, we would never have that in England because like everyone bullies people in England. People in America are just a bit weird.
Is almost any like studio in England, or is it mostly in Eastern European countries?
Yeah, mostly like Barcelona, places like that.
So not really in England.
No,
Okay.
not really.
Interesting.
No. Yeah.
Because OnlyFans is originally started in the UK.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was American because of the money.
No, I don't think it is. I think it originally was from the UK.
Interesting. So how many guys had you slept with at one time prior to doing it on camera?
I think like only like 10 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that still probably took a bunch of organizing, right?
I didn't know, it wasn't like it would just happen out the blue.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you didn't film it.
No.
Wow. You're really built different.
Definitely. But also, like, think about Kazumi. Like, this kind of reminds me of the conversations I was having with Kazumi because she was getting by like 50 dudes at like a party before she even thought about getting into. So, kind of, I don't think she's done anything like that on camera, but she was doing that before.
Yeah. I was scared to do it on camera because it's like, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
And things like that.
So are you not picky? Like, do you not have a type? Because I know the guys coming in, like, there's got to be just a complete range of appearances and heights and smells and sizes.
There are some definitely that like I find unattractive.
Yeah.
But that's why I get them to wear like the ski masks and stuff like
Wait,
that.
you straight up are like, put this on?
But like if we're filming a video, obviously I'll be like, wear this. Just so then like you're not gonna be exposed. But I find that so much easier because then like it could be this mysteriously really handsome guy. That's kind of how I think of it.
There was no guy that walked into the 100 guy sex and you were like, leave.
Oh my god, no.
Okay.
I would never like discriminate like that or anything like that. I think it'd be a bit rude if I was like, any guy can come me and then a guy turns up and I go, not you.
Besides you.
Yeah. Some guy like genuinely came like with like a micro penis. He was like quite overweight and I still showed him a good time, like just like the rest of them.
I feel like you've probably got a lot of micro penises coming through that line just because every time I'm in like a locker room or some shit, you know, it's been a while, but like I remember I used to go to this gym in Koreatown and for sure I was like, oh, there's countless micro penises out there in the world. I didn't really know.
Yeah, no, it's surprising like how many big like you know how obviously you grow up watching things like that and that is my idea of like what guys anatomy is and so then when you get to the real world you're like, where are the all these big going, like who's got the big cock, let me him.
Yeah, it's like they barely exist in the
Yeah,
real
it's
world.
rude
It
as
feels
fuck.
like.
Could
Yeah.
you put an average on the size now that you saw 100 in one day? Like, what is the average male size?
I'm gonna say like here.
that
Okay.
big. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're gonna 100 guys in one day, you're probably pretty grateful that that's the size. Since
Oh yeah, that's the thing as well. Like you don't want like 1,000 cocks this size. 'Cause
Yeah.
it kind of gets sore.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you see a guy who's soft is like this big, that hard, it could be like this big.
Yeah, you know what, like it's so surprising how big cocks can get
Yeah.
when they get hard and stuff like that. Like some
They're
of them
little
was like,
accordions.
whoa.
Were there guys who couldn't get hard at all, and then you had to turn them away after?
Definitely. Some guys came back later on. I'm pretty sure they went and got Viagra and came back. Yeah.
And what, they tried to disguise themselves
No,
as a new
I said
guy?
I said like come back if you want.
More?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did
You're
you deal with
so generous.
Okay. So when you decided to do the 100 in this documentary that has sort of famously gone viral, it feels like everybody in the whole world saw it. What was that anything? Like how much planning did that take from your perspective, and how enjoyable was that actual experience?
I didn't realize like how intense it was going to be filming a documentary. Like you're sat there and they're drilling you with questions for hours, and like there was so much more filming that like didn't get put in and things like that. And I didn't realize obviously how big it was going to go. Like, me, I would have got my hair and makeup done because I felt like I was like, oh God, I did not look good on that documentary. But yeah, it was a lot more intense than I thought it would be.
Do you wish there was something that he didn't put in the documentary that he would have put in there?
I wish like he put more of me talking positively about the experience, because obviously there were like negative parts, like some guys weren't that nice and things like that. But I said so much more about like the positive part of it that I feel like they cut out, which was a little bit annoying because it makes me look like I hated it.
Yeah.
And that's not true. But
But
was
it's
just
to your
intense.
benefit, because if you honestly did not cry in the documentary,
I
it would
don't think it
not
would
have
have
gone
gone so
viral,
viral.
and you would
Yeah.
not have earned as much money as you did.
And
from
that
it.
was a strange thing for me to see, the way that like 95% of the documentary was positive, you enjoying your experience, etc. And then the viral thing was like, let's take this crying part and let's put it completely out of context and act like this is you being super regretful about the
Yeah.
whole thing, which you never actually expressed that in the documentary.
No, this is what I find really annoying. Everyone's like, she's obviously so ashamed. She regrets it so much. F me, I do not regret doing that at all. Like, I'm very happy that I did it. And like, they missed out the part where I was like actually talking about why I was like upset, or like, you know, things went wrong and things like that. Like, throughout the day, it was so stressful because we were like, are we even going to get 100 guys? But I was getting my assistant, I was like, go find guys on the street. Like, we need more guys, because people were dropping out. Like,
It
was
is
just
so
like,
hard to plan for. Even we've done productions like for YouTube videos with just, we need 20 guys to show up, and
Yeah.
it's very, very hard to get everyone to commit. So it's honestly amazing that you guys made it happen in one day, because people are probably like, what the f are you talking about? There's thousands of guys who would want to f her, but actually
Well,
getting people to
people
show up,
are so flaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's tough. And
Especially for something like sex, where like a significant portion of guys are going to show up and still not be able to do it. And to even get them to show up in the first place, it just feels like the kind of thing where it's just, I don't know, like, but people don't understand that. For me, if I was booking 100 guy, I might feel like I need to book 300 guys and just
Yeah.
hope that 100 of them can deliver. You know?
Yeah, that's we booked in 200, and at one point it got down to like 80 guys. And so I was like, right, you need to be like texting people.
And
seeing
is
what
there
can come.
besides checking IDs for age, was there any other qualifiers that you guys were looking for? Or was it like you have a pulse and you have a dick
Yeah,
and you're 18?
as long as you're breathing and you're over 18, get on in this.
How old do you think the oldest guy was?
Probably in his 70s.
And he was
Wow.
able to get a
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, they can. I thought at that point they'd be like blowing out dust, but they're is big, juicy. It's like they're thick. I didn't realize.
Wow, go you, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said it, to be honest, he said he'd had a divorce with his wife, so maybe he hadn't spunked in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, I'm 41, and from my perspective, it's like I'm damn near as horny as I was as a teenager, which is kind of shocking. And I always wonder when it's going to kind
Wow.
of taper off,
He's
you know?
fucking
That's
Horny.
surprising as.
Yeah, I don't know. I
You
always
think
wonder
you'd
when
be
it's going to
shooting
slow down.
blanks at this point?
Nah, I feel like if anything, I could probably come more. Like when I was 18, it had never even really occurred to me to a bunch of times in a day.
Yeah.
I didn't really figure that out until a little bit later in
What
life.
were you thinking? You just one and done every day?
Pretty much, yeah. Like I would a girl and then just be like, oh yeah, that's it for the day. Maybe like much later in the day I would do another one, but it just it didn't really stand out to me until I started hanging out with like really crazy stripper chicks who wanted to over and over, and then I kind of realized like, oh, I can do that.
Your machine.
Yeah, it took me a while
That's insane.
to figure it out.
Okay, so I watched the documentary with Adam when it came out, but I was rewatching the clips in the last few days, and I've had that moment of overwhelm where I've cried, even after a scene with just him. The first time I ever shot in front of a group of producers, and I just felt like I had to be on, and you don't eat, and you don't
Yeah.
drink water, and you don't take care of your basic needs, and then all of a sudden you're done, and all of your actual feelings come crashing in. You're like, I have a headache because I didn't eat. I'm so thirsty. I'm so hungry, whatever it is. And so I too have cried in a scenario like that.
Yeah.
However, most people don't get that if they haven't been just going, and then having the moment where it's like, all right, cut, we're done, you know?
Yeah.
However, as I was watching it and you're explaining to the documentarian, like, you know, it's not for the weak at heart, like, I would not recommend this. And that was 100, and that's 10% of 1,000. How do you actually commit yourself on that day to do 1,000 people?
Yeah. So why we did the 100 was literally to learn the mistakes to do the 1,000 better. Like I was for 14 hours, which was like quite exhausting. Like I was giving these guys about 5 minutes each, which now, like looking back, is so stupid. Like, cut down that time. Like, be a bit more strict.
You were
And-
being way too nice.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you really
yeah,
cared
I
about
wanted
making
them
the
to
guy
have-
happy.
Some of them like come from America, flying in. I was like, I want them to like have a good time and make them finish and shit like that. So I didn't want to cut it short.
I mean, 5 minutes is closer to like a real sexual experience, whereas like if you're gonna do 1,000, it's gonna be
It's
a
in out.
conveyor belt
Conveyor
type
belt of
experience,
cocks.
you know?
That's
Yeah.
what we want. A conveyor belt of cocks, literally as well. Like, I need the guys undressed, hard, ready. I would have like fluffers for the 1,000, so they're already ready. Because like I'm kind of doing everything here. Like I would invite them into the room. I'd speak to them a little bit before, like make them feel a bit comfortable. And that part took long as well. I'd
Yeah.
show them how to work like my phone camera and shit like that, which is just like something I wouldn't do for the
Because
1,000.
most people, I think, when they picture 1,000 guys fucking one girl, they're picturing her in and the guys just come in, one out, one in, one
train.
out. But I actually bought your OnlyFans and I watched bits and pieces of it, and like you're in all sorts of different positions. You're riding, you're doing like you're doing a lot.
They were like, because I was like, obviously, like, what's your favorite position? We'll do that. Half them said top, like you on top cowgirl. I went, bitch. I mean, I still got up there and rode it, but like, it's just funny.
That's a
the
workout.
audacity. Yeah.
I mean, as the dude, that's kind of like the most visually impressive. You get to see their whole body, the face, the going in and out. It's like, this is great.
But all the work is on her.
Yeah, it's just something
Literally all
about,
the work is on her.
And I would literally just want to be like,
Yeah,
like,
just spread me open,
yeah.
me, let's go. Like,
Yeah, like-
you need to lay on your back and be a princess.
yeah, it'd literally be like a dip out, kind of like just very like
So you're
conveyor
gonna,
belting.
yeah. You're gonna try to do it for the 1,000 guys.
Yeah.
So are you still doing it?
Yes.
You are still doing
Yeah.
1,000 guys.
I want to work up to it though. Like I've got a 300 guy on the 2nd of March. Because
Wow.
like, what's the point in just going like straight to the 1,000?
That's
'Cause
what I was
then-
wondering. Yeah.
Then you're not gonna like profit off of if you do 300, then 500, then 1,000. Like it just makes a little bit more sense.
Definitely. So if you do 1,000, are they all going to be finishing on your face in your perfect world? Is that where they all finished the first time when you did 100?
I do love it on my face. Where did they finish? So some of them in the condom, some of them on my face. Anywhere
Okay.
really. I was very open to whatever. Just try not in the eyes this time.
Because I feel like them finishing is an important part of all this. Like
you
if,
really?
if you've got 1,000 guys just putting their in you, I feel like that seems less significant.
For it to count, it just needs to go in one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
No one needs to nut. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean,
every time you and didn't nut, you still counted it as that girl. We
yeah,
talked
but,
about
but
this
it
last
still
night.
felt deeply incomplete.
As well, if that was our problem, like
Yeah.
if you don't nut, it's
I've had
not a
sex
body. Then we
20
Yeah,
times.
yeah, literally.
Because, okay, we've been going back and forth about the idea of me 1,000 girls in a day, just
I
because
could organize that for
it
you.
seems like if you're going to do it, that there should be the guy version. But we were talking about it last night. Number one, it's going to be like significantly harder to find girls that actually want to take
What
take
do you
part
mean?
in this,
There'd be
right?
so many in the industry. You said you've got already like about 200 videos with girls.
Yeah, over the course
Do
of
you
a
think
couple
that
of years.
all want to show up for his 1,000 girl? Like, I feel like those girls might be like, I'm better than this.
Okay, but if it's going to be equivalent to hers, a lot of the girls are going to be very unattractive, and that's okay. It's like part of it. You're not going to be able to find 1,000 beauty queens, right?
So true.
Yeah, and I mean, also then it's like, how satisfactory is that going to be to the audience if me 1,000 girls is literally like me taking my out 4 or 5 times and then move on to the next
I
one?
feel like no one would be nearly as interested in it. Don't you agree?
I still think it's got some
Yeah,
viral
I think
potential.
so.
Yeah,
I've never heard of a guy 1,000 girls. So
or even I don't know, even like 20 would be like
Yeah. We
extremely
We need to find out what the
ordinary.
record is because we do know the record,
that'd be sick.
but for
I'll
girls,
go,
but
I'll,
not for
I'll
you.
go number 1,000.
Wow,
I'll take one for the team.
that would be
I
incredible.
was thinking Adam should be on number 1,000 in yours.
I don't mind. You know, I'd be happy to just be part of something.
Are you that much of a dirty bastard that you'd like to go?
I don't know. I mean,
What if she makes you wear a condom? Adam's very anti-condom.
I haven't had to wear a condom in many, many years, but it's like, you know, if it comes down to it,
You would.
there's a time and a place for everything.
Okay.
I had a lot of
I'll hold
guys
your hand.
like wanting to like eat me out after and shit like that. Like in the 1,000, like probably about 5 of them ate me out.
Right.
Like number 100 ate me out.
I
Wow.
actually was
loves
saying
it.
that as like that's one of my viral ideas for what we're shooting after this is I want to like eat you out for like a photo and just write in the caption. Like I don't know exactly what I'm gonna write in the caption, but there's got to be something
Yeah.
funny there. Like yeah, people love the simp narrative.
Clean up or something like that.
You're a little bitch boy, a little cleaner. No, there's some guys who are really into that.
Yeah,
Just,
oh,
like, They want to
definitely.
be just the
Definitely.
vacuum that cleans off.
I
all
had
the
one of guys who he on my face and then he proceeded to lick it off after.
his own.
Yeah.
Wow, you let a guy lick your face.
He's doing
Yeah,
the
go
most.
for it.
Yeah.
She really has. She's like, I'm all for everything, and that is crazy.
Well, he had to on my face anyway, so like it's not much different from licking it.
I know.
Because every
is
once
so
in a
foreign
while
to
when I
me.
click on a video on it'll end up being a scene and it'll be like some big black dude and a girl and then there'll be like a white guy in the corner. Like people think this is like my thing, but like it kind of
That's
Why is
just
it
your
coming up?
algorithm.
Yeah, your algorithm is
Yeah.
feeding you stuff.
I mean, sometimes they're just in there. Even like I've hung out with girls in the past before I was in the world where they were shooting scenes like that, and it's kind of trippy if you're like a non person and you just are watching a video and then you see this guy like licking up the. You're like, oh fuck! I did not expect that. I had no idea this was gonna be part of my viewing experience today.
So people think that like when you do, you're gonna want to do more and more extreme stuff to get off, right? That's what like I think of the people who are addicted to.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get to a place where you're like, I can't get off unless it's 2,000 guys or 3,000 guys because you're genuinely into this?
You know what I was watching the other day, which I was like, how have we gotten to this? Like fart, like these guys like licking these girls who are like farting, and like that's me. I was like, I've gotten to that point that in where like I can't watch like normal sex. 'cause
You
it's
were
so
you were
boring.
masturbating to this.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I've seen that
you know
over
when
the years.
it's like post-nut clarity, and after you're a bit like,
Whew, maybe
was
I
that
need
a
to
bit
check
weird?
myself.
There used to be a viral video back in the early days of the internet before we had access to like everything on the internet that was like a girl like sitting in a cake and farting. I think it was cakefarts.com, but there was that definitely stands out to me in my early internet memories.
Were you jerking off to this?
I don't know if I ever jerked off to it. Probably not.
You get hard
specifically.
did you watch it
easily,
with your
I feel like.
friends? Was
Huh?
it something you watched with your friends, or just like?
Definitely when I was like, we would be watching together as a group of homies, just because it was like tough to even like have time. Like my friends would like come over with like a VHS tape that
God,
it wasn't like we
really?
all had a movie and like we only had so much time that our parents weren't home. So for sure, me and my friends would like jerk off like all under our own blanket at times.
That
Sounds really
that's really
good, but-
efficient.
You
Yeah,
have to check your search history. I don't know what you're watching in there.
this is a long time ago. This is way before. But okay, so I feel like the average woman, their list of complaints about things that they wouldn't like about the is pretty long. What do you think it is about you that just makes you able to sort of take all those concerns and just kind of throw them to the side? And like, I feel like a lot of people wonder, is this all a viral marketing campaign, or is this something that really comes from your soul that you just love this experience?
I do just love it. I don't think I could do it if I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a pretty hard life if you hated it. As well, I was making really good money before I did all this kind of like extreme stuff. So like when people are like, are you doing it for the money? It's like, no, because like I'm living the exact same lifestyle I am than I was. Sorry. Does that make sense?
Right. So are you money driven at this
No.
point, or you're experience
This
driven?
is the thing. Like the idea for me of like success is being like a bit of a legend in the industry. Not so much like money. There's no amount of money that could like be like, right, I'm going to quit now. Like I've made that.
Okay. This man has gone viral a few times in his career, and so have I.
Yeah.
So I've, last time we went viral was probably like maybe well over a year ago. It's like you have that attention and then it disappears. You do get, I wouldn't say like addicted
It's
to
so
the
addictive.
attention.
I think it's really addictive.
It's fun. It's very
Yeah.
exciting. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everyone wants like a piece of you in some way. You're becoming more and more well known. You have, you get more freebies, like whatever it is. The things that you're doing to get the attention and doing it so fast is like, are you a little worried about where you might have to take it to continue being in the conversation? Or like, how bummed are you going to be when the conversation's over after it's been thousands of men.
Yeah, I never think that because I always think there can be something new I can do. Like we've always got ideas. Like my assistant's trying to sort at the minute. Don't steal this idea.
I would not even put it out there if you're worried about that.
A skydive where like I have sex on the skydive and like shit like that. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be like big numbers.
Yeah.
Just like something really interesting.
Have you done skydiving before?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
But could you
I'm
see?
trying to imagine it. I'm like,
Well, you just need to like suck a cock while
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in the air. It's pretty.
I can't. I've never skydived, so it's hard for me to imagine being able to navigate over to
It's
the
pretty-
woman.
it's
I
pretty,
hated
like-
skydiving, so I'm like trying to imagine having sex
How
while
much time do you have while you're up there?
you float at the end, but like I just found I guess would you do it during the floating
fall.
part? You
The
do it during the
fall.
full fall.
Yeah.
Okay, during that part, there's so much pressure on your face. Like I'm just trying to imagine like the mouth with all this other forces happening.
Because you can do naked skydiving, right?
Yeah, my friend did it naked when I
Yeah.
was with her, and she had like her nipple piercings on
Oh,
it. I think they
sick.
kind of hurt.
Do you think that there's going to be a period in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, in which you are able to sort of just do normal and not feel the
Ooh.
need to constantly be pushing it? Like, is there a level where you just sort of coast?
The thing is, what I'm doing now is like what I would do. I mean, not necessarily the 1,000 men and the 100 guys. What I would do in my spare time anyway. So it's not like that much different for me. But I definitely want to get more into like the actual side of things, like Vixen and like Blacked and shit like that.
Shooting for studios.
Yeah. which I
Making
think's
really
cool.
beautiful content as opposed to
Yeah.
just making stuff that's notable because it's so extreme.
Because the like the 100, like they're shit videos. Like they're very very amateur looking. They're a bit
People
grim,
love
like,
that, though.
Yeah,
People
I've got
really
like
love-
red eyes.
But
I look
that-
like dog shit.
Yeah,
but-
that's something that I realize sometimes when I'm like clicking on this stuff is that it's like, oh, I like watching a girl get by a couple of very big, like a professional male performer. And I'm not really that excited about watching some guy with like a 3-inch dick hammer away. It's
Yeah.
like, I respect the idea of it, but on a personal level, it's just not really as exhilarating to me.
See, but some people like it. Like I
And
like
it's also-
watching kind of gross couples.
And I get why dudes like it because it's very approachable. They could easily imagine themselves being part of it.
It's very relatable. It's very realistic to them when they're watching a very polished scene and they don't feel like a very polished person. They're like, I could never be a part of this. But with you, they're like, I actually could be a part of this, which makes me worry that if you ever reject a guy, he's going to take it so terribly badly because in a way you don't have a standard.
I don't think there would be a guy I would reject. There was one guy that
And what
like,
if it was like super rude to you or like, or just like not your guy because you didn't like the way that he talked to you or whatever. Like you don't think there's any kind of guy that you would
if maybe
reject?
if he was like really rude to me up front,
Or
I don't mind.
smelly.
I had a real smelly one. Even the security guard said outside he was like stinks,
Oh,
and I
no.
like took him in before he even like took any clothes off. Like it was ponging. But like it felt rude to then be like, can you go get a shower?
Yeah.
So like I just went through with it. As long as you use a lot of spit, like it kind of gets away from.
Okay,
stuff.
if you plan on submitting yourself for any
Please
sex with
don't.
Lily, please take a shower, use the loofah down there, wear some deodorant, brush your teeth really, really nicely. Like she is letting you her precious hole. Please get clean for her.
It's disrespectful as well. Like you're coming here to me. Why have you not showered?
It's also though, all right, throughout my life, I've known dudes who it just became clear to me at some point that this dude doesn't just stink, but the stink that he has on his body naturally is just not going away. I had a stinky friend. We bought him a brand new set of clothes. We bought him shampoo and soap.
No
he
way.
took a full shower and put on brand new clothes, and within like a half hour, the dude already stank.
He needs to go to the
people look
fucking
like-
doctor.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's something happening.
That is probably a good idea, but also I just think that there's some guys who it's just like their natural stink is so strong. We could
their
probably Google it.
microbiome is out of whack. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
going to
they need some
diagnose them
Botox
right
in
now.
their, like,
something.
armpits.
There's a fix.
Do you remember in high school that there would be kids who got like special deodorant because they like really stank so
No?
bad? Yeah,
Is it
like
prescription?
Yeah, prescription deodorant. We used to hear about it a
Whoa.
lot in high school. Yeah.
As well, I think people who stink don't know they stink.
No, I have no idea.
Do you
But-
remember in high school that you would like? There was like a period of my life where I was sweating so much from my underarms. Like when you're going
That's
through
getting me
puberty, I
horny,
feel
ready
like
for this.
that's normal to just have like a period of time where you're just
when your
really
hormones
sweating.
are changing, you get really sweaty. So that's
Definitely.
Getting
possible.
us both in the mood.
Yeah. He doesn't smell right now.
No, I think I just took a shower. Okay, what is dating like as Lily
That was
Phillips,
also
or
my
is that
question.
completely on the back burner?
I don't date.
Okay.
I used to date before I did and like I just realized how distracted I get. And like I'm quite like work driven, like I do love working. And when I kind of came out of that like trance, that relationship, I was like, whoa, I need to just like be myself and stop dating for a bit. And as well, like I can't be asked while I'm doing like shit like that. I don't really want to go on a date. I don't want to be
If
married to
any
anyone or anything.
performers wanted to date you and you could continue doing what you're doing, do you think you would go with it or no?
Not right now, no.
There's,
It's so
there's
like
no
time
guy who
consuming.
could get you to that point of wanting to just be with them.
Not right now. I think in like 2-3 years time when I'm kind of like mellowing out maybe a little bit or a little bit bored. Yes.
That is the trippy thing about you, is just that you're what, 23?
Yes.
I mean, that's wild to a lot of people too. Like if you were 35 doing this, a lot of people would not be nearly as intrigued because they'd be like, okay, she's been doing for a long time. She wants to do crazier and crazier stuff. Being 23 and doing it just makes it that much more hard for normal people to understand, I think.
Yeah.
I like that though. Like it only really needs to make sense to me, not to anyone else. So I don't really mind.
Definitely.
I know that your parents are active in your life and you guys have a good relationship and they help you with your accounting, which is what you said in your the documentary. Now that there's been so much backlash from the documentary, has your relationship with them been a little bit different?
It's definitely been different. The thing is, their love for me is still 100% there. It's just been a little bit tough because they've got so much backlash. And like, as much as I don't care what people say about me and shit like that, it's when they come for your family. It's not nice to hear and stuff like that. And to hear my family getting upset and like, obviously everyone in our small village knows, the neighbors know. And that's just not nice.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel bad. But other than that, like I still talk to them daily. Like they have my back so much, even though they don't necessarily support what I do. They're not cheering me on, going suck 1,000 cocks. They still like love me and they just want the best for me, kind of thing.
Are they trying to convince you to stop even at this point, or
They want me to not do the 1,000, but at the end of the day, like you can't stop someone from doing anything.
Right. Yeah, because like even if your dad was very off the radar and really only communicated with a handful of people, I can imagine it finding its way back to him at a certain point. Like even my parents, they didn't really know about the whole Jason Love saga until me buying the Lamborghini, which was fake.
One of your mom's friends sent the article
I know
to her.
that was it though. There was the
Oh.
article about that, and they sent it because it was in the New York Post, and they sent it to my mom, and that's how they basically found out. So it's like even with them being like totally checked out,
And
they
they're in
don't
their
look at Twitter,
70s, they're
Really?
they
like-
don't really look at Instagram. Once that went to the New York Post, yeah, that's how they ended up finding out about it. But to my parents, it's also
What do they say? But you're a 30, 40-year-old guy. Like they
well, I'm
can't.
41.
41.
Yeah.
41, sorry.
She's 33, but like
I think it's just so weird because it happened right the month after we got married. And so I'm sure to your very traditional parents who've been married for the last like 50 years, they were like, okay, hopefully there's no trouble in paradise.
they've
Like,
just also had a lot of time to sort of like warm up to the fact that like to my parents, I think everything is in comparison to me going to jail.
yeah.
You know?
Okay,
Because
yeah.
when I was a kid, I got in trouble so much that to them, they very much like
Now
expected
they're
me to
like,
end up in prison. So like to my parents, this stuff, is it shocking? Yes. Is it that bad? Not really.
Yeah.
I like that. Like do the worst, and then when you kind of do something a little bit bad, they don't really mind.
No, totally.
That's why I thought do the 1,000, and then anything underneath that isn't that like shocking. to
That's
them.
what I thought was so smart, because when you did the 100 and then immediately announced that you were going to do 1,000, I was like, oh, this ensures that she's not going to be vanishing from the discourse on online. And even like yesterday, you doing the cum walk was, I probably seen like 50 people on Twitter talking about you doing the cum walk. And it's mostly like Christian people or moralizing type people who want to talk shit about it. But it's like the level of appetite for talking about you is just so astonishing
that's
still.
so
Have you gotten
kind.
a lot of hate from girls in the industry who are like, I've done a cum walk 55 times and this bitch is getting all the credit for it? Because I feel like there's always a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of girls didn't like the fact that I was doing extreme stuff because then I think they felt like they couldn't compete necessarily. But at the end of the day, there's always been more. There's always someone doing something more extreme than you.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really hate me. You know what I mean?
It's always been my experience that there's, you know, people, a lot of great people, definitely a lot of like very jealous, catty women involved in it as well. And I feel like there was a lot of that sentiment when Lena was going viral for the Jason Love thing, because there's so many women out there that are like, well, I'm married. I'm all kinds of random
Yeah.
guys and
Yeah.
nobody gives a shit. And same thing with you, where it's like there's other girls who probably 100 guys before you.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is this girl getting all this attention when I've been doing the same thing for a long time?
People just need to learn that it's like marketing. Like
Yeah.
that's what it's about. It's like the social media stuff that like you really need to put the time into, as well as, because you can have the best videos in the world, but if no one knows about it, then they're not going to buy it.
I mean, a lot of women need to be on antidepressants just to go work in an office every day, and nobody even knows that they exist. So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, she's got millions of people hating on her, not to mention, you know, praising her. Like, that must be hard for people to go through. But I feel like you almost have like a dude mentality about it. You're a cowboy. You're just like, you know what? None of this shit matters to me. I don't give a f.
Sorry, go ahead.
I do what I love like every single day. Like I get to do my hobby for work and make money off it and monetize it.
There was
like,
no part of you when you were going viral and being trashed by hundreds of thousands of people at the same time that were like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. There was no
oh
part
my
of
god,
you.
no, because like all the hate comments. I'm sure you guys know. All the hate comments is what makes you go so viral. So like, bring it on. You know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The first time I went viral, it got to me. So that's why I was asking that.
But we talked about that the other day, is that when Lena first went viral, it was for something that was so tame by today's standards. It was, I'm a YouTuber and I'm going to make a sex tape with my boyfriend at 1 million subscribers, which is such a high bar of expecting 1 million people to engage with YouTube in that way, that people weren't really subscribing to channels as much at that time. But she, like, her perspective on it was, you know, she was kind of freaked out and scared.
Because
and
everyone
weirded.
was asking me to do their radio shows so that they could tell me that I'm so extreme and that I'll do anything for views. And at the time, I was way over in my head. I didn't know what everything I know now about marketing and how important it is. And this is pre-OnlyFans. So when everyone was like, you're such a shitty person, you're going to regret this, I was like, well, maybe I am. Maybe I am.
Yeah,
gonna,
you start to read into it.
You know, so that's why I was like, was there any moment where you were like, this is
I understand
crazy?
that. It does take over your life a little bit, just like searching it up and like reading into shit. Like I do get very like distracted by just like reading stuff.
Hard not to, right?
Yeah, but it's not like, I don't take it as a bad thing, because it's like,
Okay, did you get sick after being exposed to 100 men?
you know what? I got no STIs.
No, but like not even like a flu, a
no.
cough, like nothing?
No, I don't think so. Not from what I can remember. But I was taking antibiotics at the time I was doing it. So I thought, you know, like,
Did
stop
you get
it.
them in advance for the...
Yeah.
Wow, that's smart. That's probably why you didn't fucking get sick. Because I just feel like there's no way you could be exposed to that many people and not get sick.
Yeah, I try not to really like kiss people that much either. I don't know about you guys, but like if I don't fancy someone, I struggle to kiss them. I can like suck their like.
That's why I was surprised to let the guy lick at your face. Because I feel like it's the same.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a kiss, but it's just over here instead of here.
So, okay, you mentioned something about how you were planning a.
Mm.
Is that going to take any different level of precautions or anything like that? Or from your perspective, is your prepared enough to be able to handle this no problem?
I did my first EP scene end of December, and I decided to go with the 2 biggest black cocks in England.
Wow.
And for the first one, I don't know why, I was just like, I'm one of them people that's like, I like to do it quite extreme stuff. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. And after I did that, I just loved it so much and was just like, I can kind of do anything. So that's when I was like, let's do it all. Because I feel like, obviously, I've done the 100, like, I don't want to keep just like doing the same thing.
So it's going to be 300.
No. So this one will probably be, well, we've got about 50 guys so far. About 50 guys, something like that. How many turn up? And then I'm doing 300 in March, that is. But yeah.
If my wife will allow me, I would love to take part in this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You could
Yeah.
grab my booty. You could push me.
No, as well, like,
He's so
it's great
thirsty for right now. Okay, how much have you actually done in your personal life?
See, I used to do quite a lot, like, before I even got into so
Okay.
that's when, like, when I started, I was already quite good at it. Like, my first ever scene I shot, in the same week I shot my first one as well. But yeah, I've done a fair amount, and like I get my fist up there.
So 50.
Yeah.
I can
As
get
well,
my fist up there like it's no big deal. That was impressive.
People,
That's crazy. That's
people
insane.
realize though these are going to be like normies, so they're not going to be that big.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there might be like one bit larger one, but it's not like
Yeah.
where it's just
That's good. Because
yeah.
I was like, we don't know a lot about how many and how many hours I feel like you could do for, and I just feel like there's a lot more that could go wrong, if you know what I mean. So it's good that you're doing less than the 100.
I don't know about you,
I
but
give you
like,
permission.
You can put a lot more up your ass than you can your.
But stuff might come out.
Nah.
So I just feel like for something that's that big a deal, you pretty much got to commit yourself to eating very little. And also, like, there's all these gay dudes out there doing all this. They've got all kinds of tips and tricks that can make sure that you don't experience
it's called
too much.
Imodium. It's like all those things that make you constipated. There are definitely tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Also, like, these guys are rough. You know what I mean? Like, they like it dirty, so bit of shit on their cock. They don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Just
from a
gotta edit
video
it out.
perspective, that's kind of something you might want to avoid.
Well, you just like
right?
eat it off, wouldn't you? Like, so it wouldn't get in the video.
That is right across the line.
Eat it off. Wait, you're saying that you'll eat it off just to get it?
Yeah, like, you know when you've like done.
You better take antibiotics again.
Wait, but so from your perspective, getting some shit in your mouth in the process of doing this, not off limits.
No. I feel like you have just like, you know, when you're in the scene and you're like doing the video and shit like that, like anything goes kind of thing.
Your adrenaline, yes, but I mean, it's poop. I don't know.
You have the best mentality that I've ever heard anybody have about this sort of thing. It's insane.
But it's never like proper shit, is it? I don't know if you do much like anal. It's like kind of
We've
just
had our
like
poopy moments.
Yeah.
really.
We haven't filmed a lot of in recent times, but for sure there was one threesome that we did in the backyard where I was her and another girl in the butt, and they both had different types of diarrhea, which was kind of shocking from my
We just had to
perspective.
keep cleaning it and flipping the furniture over
Oh my
to
God.
finish the scene, but we got it done.
We were in the backyard as well. This sounds kind of crazy when I think about it now.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. I'm
Like a
excited
dog,
for you.
basically.
So you're going to basically keep training. I know that first you were going to do the 1,000 guys around this time of the year, but now you're pushing it back and you're going to do all these other
Yeah.
competitions in the middle.
Well, as well, I was meant to actually do it here, but I got quite a lot of advice saying you will be deported if you do it here. And that's what they were asking about as well, like when I got stopped last night.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'm glad I've like pushed it back because I wouldn't be banned from here.
Speaking of which, did you actually get in trouble with that Airbnb?
Yeah, I'm banned off Airbnb.
Oh, man.
Wow. Well,
I
being
got really,
banned is
I was really scared because they could sue me, but fingers crossed.
But the UK has less of a sue happy
Yeah.
culture, right? So there's
I
like
just-
a bit less of that.
Yeah, as well, I thought if they sue me, I'll just buy it off them and then make it like a tourist attraction.
Right. So how much would you say that your OnlyFans income has multiplied over the last year or so?
Ooh.
It's like a 10x, 20x.
When last month I probably did like 10 times as much as I had been the month before,
Wow.
maybe.
wow.
Yeah.
They got to stay
Impressive.
because they know you keep doing all these new challenges. So they're
Yeah.
like, I'm sticking around.
Yeah, I feel like at some point it will maybe like start to come down, but then like you've always got room for it to go back up and stuff like that. That's just like business, isn't it? Like there'll be
Oh, yeah.
dips and what's the word?
Peaks and valleys.
Peaks and dips.
Definitely.
So Adam can come out to the UK.
Oh my God, you're more than welcome to be number 1,000.
I would love to do our own documentary type thing / like vlog, but I feel like it might be kind of hindered by the fact that these dudes don't want to be on camera, so that might kind of up the vibe.
Day in the life of Lily, a number
But for
of
sure, if
thousand.
you're gonna do 1,000, I do want to be there, and I definitely think it's worth flying out for.
Yeah.
I love going to
It's
London.
just
So
as well so good to get like social content with these guys as long as you agree to like blur
them.
their like voice and
yeah, like
have
the
them
guy
wear a
did
mask.
in the doc.
But
remember?
what percentage of these guys are down to be on camera and don't give a
Not many.
Really?
I only got one that was happy to have their face in it.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like blurring is totally fine. Blurring,
Yeah.
using the voice masking and all that.
This 51 that I'm doing in Vegas, though, apparently a lot of the guys are like very happy to be on camera because they're like regular swingers.
Yeah, and that's Vegas, and that's like in the middle of porn weekend, so it's
yeah,
kind
so
of like
they're happy to go to the convention, so they're kind of happy like
yeah, those
stuff
like
like that.
oh, you're not gonna believe the level of attention that you're gonna get when you're at this convention
I
because
feel
it's
like no, because no one knows me in America.
I think that you need to
what?
actually genuinely mentally prepare yourself for the most like insane, emotionally draining, chaotic experience of your life. You're going to be the place where you'll be the most famous.
But wait, you really think, and that's so cute if you actually believe
Yeah.
this, but you really think that you're not mega famous in America, because we could go to Hollywood Boulevard right now, which is like a 20-minute drive, and I feel like you're going to be mobbed by fans even in
No.
that non-porn
No.
specific environment.
Like maybe not on Rodeo Drive with all these
Yeah.
like posh people, but like no, if you go to a
Somewhere
mall,
skanky.
I feel like it's gonna
Yeah.
be a thing.
Yeah.
That's insane. No. I
you
I don't
have-
leave the house that much. Like I don't go out that much. So I don't
So
really. like,
you're going to look at this conversation and be like, oh,
Lena and Adam
I
are
was
giving me-
clueless
yeah.
as yeah.
I would highly recommend that you hire your own security for walking around the hotel, and I am not
Oh really?
joking.
Sure, yeah.
Like 100,000%. Guys have touched my ass during convention week while he's been standing right next to me.
Whoa.
They're
That
drunk.
makes me sound like a
They're
bitch.
so excited.
That's me. I'm drunk. I'm excited.
They're
I'm touching
drunk. They're
people's arse.
excited. They think that in some ways they should have the right to touch you because
Yeah.
they paid to go to the convention, and you are also willing to most of them. So I am giving you advice that I think you should totally take, which is
Okay.
to hire a security guard
Yeah.
for the whole time that you're there.
Oh really?
Yes, your own security.
I didn't think it. I went last year and I just didn't. I mean, obviously, like
It's so different.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
different now. You're unbelievably well known, and most of those guys, some of them might have bought tickets to the convention just because they saw that you were going
That's
to be
sweet.
there. And
that's so bizarre to me. I can't really.
it is totally crazy because it's like this is all very new attention
Yeah.
for you, but it's all of those clicks online are actually people.
I know it's so weird, isn't it? You don't see it as people at
You
all.
feel like
You're
there's a
just
disconnect, but then at this convention, it all comes to life for
Yeah.
you. You're like, everyone is actually seeing everything
Yeah.
I post online.
Like it was funny when I did the 101. I was meeting fans and shit like that, and they were like, "I've subscribed to you for like 4 years," and like I've flown over from here, and I'm like, "What the? Why the have you flown over just to see me and me?" Bit weird.
They love you.
No,
But
that's
you
sweet.
say that as a woman because you don't know how hard it is to get laid. And for a lot of guys, like, that's just like... it
Would you have
just-
done it if you were 25 and never got laid?
Flying to another continent, maybe not. But for sure, if it was like an hour down the road, yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so different. Because as a woman, I could probably go onto the street and find someone.
For sure.
For sure.
But with men, it's just
1,000%.
If you wanted to 20 guys tonight, you could go to the bars on Hollywood Boulevard and for sure be able to find 20 guys to fuck, which honestly, that might be what I would do if I were you next. Is like do one where you don't do any prep besides meeting guys out that
yeah.
night.
I just try and like find guys off the street.
Yeah, and
The
have,
homeless people. Come on.
oh my God, the homeless people.
Go down to Skid Row.
Oh, that Skid Row gang. See,
You're already doing
Skid Row
charity. You're
gangbang.
okay.
but we're talking about it as if there's no ground to cover, like there's nothing left. And as soon as you say Skid Row, I'm like, oh, okay. There's a lot of stuff left. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of stuff I can still do.
Jesus Christ, I
Yeah,
hope
I've
you
got a
don't
lot
do
of
that.
ideas.
When like obviously a lot of the attention that you get is negative from basically religious people, do you feel in any way responsible for the degradation of society, or do you feel like you're having a net negative impact on the world through doing this kind of stuff?
I've always been very open that what I do is extreme and it shouldn't be like, it's not like normalized. Like, not every girl has to do this. But I'm so like open about that. The fact that like I do this because I enjoy it, and that's why I do this. And I don't think people should really have a say on what I do with my body and post online.
See, that is the weird thing about doing anything extreme and is that people are always going to take it as you advocating that everybody
Yeah.
else do this thing, that
Yeah,
it can't
people-
possibly just be you having outlier tendencies.
Yeah, I know people take it as like, you are teaching the next generation that they have to do this. And I've never ever said that. I always say as well, like, if you want to join OnlyFans, do it because you love it, not because you think you're going to earn X amount and stuff like that, because it's not as easy as people think.
Yeah, there's a lot of creators that don't hit $500 on there,
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
if you look
And
at their average numbers, they're very low.
There's
Yeah.
a million hot chicks on OnlyFans who are just like showing their booty and like maybe showing some boobs. And those are probably girls that don't want to do any crazy sexual stuff and they're still able to make a living off their body to their fans. And, you know, you're just kind of on the other side of it.
Yeah, yeah.
How long do you see yourself staying in this industry?
Until I get bored of it.
Okay.
That's what I've always said. Like, until I stop enjoying it, I'll do it.
You're in the fresh honeymoon stage still.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I feel like I'm just starting out. Like, I'm just getting a taste for it. And so it's all really, really exciting to me. I wonder if some points I'll be like, I'm fucking bored of this. Maybe I'll like then become like a Christian.
I'm not even worried about you being bored. I feel like I'm worried about you having potentially negative experiences, and so far you've had tons of positive ones, and I hope they continue to be extremely positive for you, because you're very happy and you're like giddy about it, and that's very exciting.
I feel like that's any job though. Like everyone has like parts where it's like a little bit of negative about the job, and that's just work. Like that's just life. Like not everything can be fun and like good. That makes sense.
Definitely, you are a model for having a good mentality about something that the vast majority of people would not be able to put such a sunny face on. It's very impressive.
You got to have the down days to have the good days, though. You know.
How did you spend the day after the 100 guys? What did you do for yourself?
I went on a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
No
went on a
days
podcast
off.
to speak about it, literally. Yeah.
okay. And after that, any self-care? Any sort of recovery tactics for you?
No. I think I fucked like within that week again, like filming and shit like that.
14 hours of sex. You weren't over it yet.
No, you know what? I surprisingly wasn't sore down there. Maybe I'm just like a bucket. That might
No,
be
maybe
why.
the guys were small. I don't know.
As well, like it wasn't all of the sex wasn't all penetrative. Like as in for the 5 minutes each guy's got, it was like blowjob and stuff like that. So I think that plays a big role.
That's definitely one of the cheat codes, because the girl, I think it was Savannah back in the day, who did the 600 or 800 guys or whatever back in the 90s. There was a girl who did it, and I think that she was doing a lot of like mouth and like at the same time.
Because
and,
then
like,
you can get about 5 in at once.
exactly.
So it you know, you're building up the numbers quickly.
From my perspective, though, if it doesn't enter the at least for a little bit, that's kind of against the spirit of what we're doing here. This is not a
Oh, you've got rules on this shit.
Well, I just have expectations for sure. Yeah. Okay. You feel satisfied with what we've done here so far?
Can I check my notes really quick to
Sure.
make sure there's no burning questions that I really... Oh my god.
Can I talk about this? Thank you so much.
Please.
So, I mean, this isn't my actual jar. I'm gonna what's the word?
Transfer?
I'm gonna transfer it when I get home. But I've got quite a big jar and I'm gonna fill it up with guys' loads. Like I'm a cum connoisseur. Like I wanna know how much cum it takes to fill up a jar. Like when I do these big things, I actually wonder like how many milliliters of spunk am I taking? And so in jar form, it's going to be a lot easier to like see and stuff like that. And I'm very like specific on what I like with cum. Like I like it really like thick and quite a lot of it. Like if it's a bit watery and like not much of it, it's a waste of time for me.
That guy pregame.
Yeah. So Adam, you're actually going to be the first one to fill it up if that's okay.
Give her
I'm
some
so
thick
excited.
spunk, okay?
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to come back disappointed.
No, for sure.
So
I'm
this
capable.
means he's the first guy you're fucking.
Yeah.
I knew a guy who tried to save his loads in I think it was a plastic bottle. I don't think it was a glass mason jar. And I remember him saying that by the time he came in it for the 3rd time, that it smelled so bad that he puked when he opened it. And I'm just saying that to say that you might end up having a similar experience where I think that like something happens when it is put in a container and it's
starts
sitting
to,
there
like,
for a couple
curdle,
days.
like
yeah.
milk.
I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I just...
Well, this is science, really.
Yeah.
You should call an IVF clinic
Yeah.
and be like, what happens with all the nut you guys don't use? How bad does it smell? I think that you need to start traveling with like a cooler bag with ice in it, because
This is what I thought. Keep it in the fridge and stuff like that.
you're going to need to have a whole
No.
lunchbox situation with you
Yeah,
every day.
I'm really excited as well. I've just opened up a PO box so people can send in their spunk to me.
So it's not just about the guys you've fucked. It's...
No, because as well, like I just thought everyone can get involved. Everyone can get some. Why not?
Send
I want
Lily
as
your
much,
cum.
as much spunk as possible. But I'm excited. I did want to make a video at the end with all the spunk. But if what you're saying is true, I'll have to see about that. Because like if it gets real stinky, I don't know about that.
Your ability to endure the stank is part of what will make you a legend. You know?
Pouring
She starts
it like all over
yakking
me,
halfway
like-
through the video for just drowning
Yeah,
yourself in
like-
it, and just starts... Some guys might really like that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're shooting the scene before that happens. but-
Yeah, at least you're the first one. I'm really excited though, like to see how much it actually takes. Like how much will it fill up, do you reckon?
Right.
I don't know.
I think we got to just keep that jar on deck.
Yeah.
I feel
Because-
like a half moon of this bottom layer for the first nut, just because I know your nut so well. That's
Honestly,
what I'm picturing.
I feel like my average nut, it might take 200 to fill that jar. And especially
Whoa.
I think they get smaller and they like dry up
yeah.
and get kind of like crusty and stuff as time goes by, and that might make it even more extreme. But hey,
Well, I
that's
might
hot.
even get some guys, like, any guys going to the AVNs, if you want to bring your spunk with you, you can give it to me then.
All the guys are gonna run to the bathroom really
Yeah.
quick.
I almost want to just hang out with you at AVN to just see what kind of experiences
I
you
want to
have
like
while
see
you're
how much they're bringing as well, like who's got the biggest and stuff like that.
We have a filmer coming who's making a vlog. We should definitely have her come follow her around collecting all this.
You shot with a plasterer Matt, right?
Oh my god!
Nobody got bigger loads than him. I don't know what it
He's my
is.
favorite. Like, it's just so insane to me. Like, that is the level of spunk I love. Like, that's
He's
why I
gonna
have
fill up the
enthusiasm
whole
for.
jar.
I know I said 2 loads, you'll be done, babe.
Yeah.
Like, he's
For sure.
insane.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm more ready than I'll ever
Ready
be.
to
Ready?
I'm not gonna in her mouth and she's gonna spit it in the jar.
Yes, I like that attitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
We got
love that.
Best of both worlds.
I'm excited.
Scoop it off
go.
my face.
Let's go.
That
All
was
right.
sick.